The Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
Clarity Pharmaceuticals shares soaring today after confirming it has imaged the first patient in its phase 3 Amplified trial. The diagnostic trial focuses on patients with biochemical recurrence of prostate cancer. The Clarity aims to detect prostate cancer recurrence earlier and more accurately compared to current options. Clarity now looks at gathering data to support a new drug application with the US FDA, a new step towards commercialisation. Shares up about 10% this morning, between 10 and 20%. Grady Wulff, these pharmaceutical companies or biotechs are in your wheelhouse at the moment. You love them over the years.
Yeah.
Explain today's announcement
So
and the importance.
Clarity has been, with the share price, I'm sure we'll get the chart up in a second, it ran so hot, and I think it reached about, or how much was it, $8 a share.
Yep.
That ran too hot because what the company is doing is absolutely incredible. So I'm pretty sure they use copper. So I sat down with Alan Taylor, the CEO, fantastic operator. I can't fault the management team, incredible operators. And how they work is it's a more accurate, more safe, better for the body, kind of binds to the cancerous cells in the prostate and identifies them straight away. So it's a much more efficient, more accurate way of detecting prostate cancer early. Now, we have seen a lot of their clinical trial results and they are looking fantastic. So one of their patients is actually cleared of prostate cancer because of what they've done. So incredible results, but it ran really hot, really early pre-revenue. So no money coming in just yet, which is fine, but the valuation ran too hot. Yeah. Today's announcement, fantastic, what we're expecting. So it's showing further efficacy, further safety, hitting phase 3 trials. Phase 3 is the one before commercialization, before you submit to the regulator. So it's the most expensive one, but it's also the final step. The fact they're getting really good results in phase 3, simply phenomenal. We were expecting this, but I think the valuation has come back a bit to kind of show that this is what is factored in now. It should go on a big run again, but I think the company is absolutely amazing. We have a spec buy on it, speculative simply Because of the pre-revenue nature of the company, and it's obviously risk associated with investing in it. But the company is simply...
So it's opened up pretty high and now settled back again.
I think
up
that's
3% on the day.
Yeah, is the market off today? Or is it up? Let me have a look.
No. So phase 3 trials are the final phase before FDA approval.
Before FDA, TGA, everything,
Okay, all right. Because when you look at these sort of companies, you've got to be clear where they are in the cycle, aren't they?
If it's phase 1, really good results, it's good, but it's not be all end all. Right. You want to see phase 3, commercialization plans, FDA approval in the works. That's where you want to be looking.
So you'd have a buy on this?
A spec buy.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm not sure I can add much clarity after what Grady's just said.
But
couldn't resist the opportunity. But look, phase 3 is the hardest phase by far. It takes on average 3 to 4 years to get through, and it's got about a 40% fail rate. So at this stage, it's still highly speculative. And if Grady points out, no revenue yet, a long way away from being able to generate revenue. Having said that, what it's doing is, at least on the surface, absolutely transformational for prostate cancer. And obviously, I think many of us who have been touched by cancer would love to see the success of this company and other biotechs.
I reckon every bloke in Australia would wish them every success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But from an investment point of view, I would say you're probably better off giving your money to an organisation like Cure Cancer, where they are doing a huge amount of this kind of research with top leading scientists at the early stages of their careers, because you'll get the tax deduction faster and you'll probably end up at the same place.
Right. So you're saying because phase 3, you think to yourself, phase 3, approval's really imminent. You're saying phase 3 takes 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, so the average is it takes about 3 to 4 years to get through phase 3 trials. And the reason for that is phase 1 and phase 2 are just simply safety trials. Is the drug safe? is it
Right.
causing a huge problem.
Right.
Phase 3 is the first time where they look at the efficacy of the underlying treatment and the side effects,
Right.
both internally at the time, immediately at the time and down the line. So it's a long-term study because you've got to look at the longer-term impact. Costs a lot more, and therefore it has a much higher fail rate. And of course, we saw in the Australian market a big example of that earlier this year with CSL, CSL 112, who'd got through flying colours in phase 1 and phase 2, spent, I think it was about $1 billion on their phase 3 trial. Not that Clarity needs to spend anywhere near that amount of money, but
Holy hell.
significant amounts of money.
No, is it?
Absolutely, and failed by, I think it was about 0.5% in the end on the efficacy question statistically, and therefore failed to get through phase 3. And so, phase 3 trials for an investor, it's better than phase 1 and phase 2, but it's still a long way from seeing revenue and profits.
But for Clarity, they did receive the fast track approval for FDA clearance. So when you have that, it means you're in constant communication with the FDA.
Right. So that's shorter than
the 3 to 4. But again, it's as Andrew said, it's a really tough one to get through.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. It's a good step, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So as we saw with Opthea recently, company's worth 9 cents now maybe, but they were banking on this one drug product hitting the market, and they failed the final phase. So don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
Andrew, do you approach this sector of the market of saying, no, absolutely no interest until they get that phase 3 approval? Or do you say, all right, I'm like all of these companies are doing great things and you want them to succeed, I'll put a little bit into 5 of them, hoping one will shoot the lights out?
Yeah, look, I think as investors, we're all people with a slightly higher risk appetite than perhaps the average.
Yep.
So, I don't mind a little bit of a flutter every now and then.
Yep.
And to me, but I think to me...
And treat it as such.
And treat it as such.
Right.
But I think to me, biotechs in general, they are wonderful things. They change the world, but they are gambles.
Yep.
And so, I tend to personally take the view that I would rather give my money to early stage cancer research as a charitable donation, because I feel at least at that point, if the trials don't succeed and the opportunities don't matter, I went into it knowing this was a donation rather than convincing myself it's an investment.
Sound exactly like Howard.
It's genetic. He copies me.
Can we just tell the audience that you are Howard's son?
And also, Howard would also make a good point, which I agree with him.
Yeah.
If you really like these sort of companies, don't buy a market, wait for them to do an issue, because that's money going straight into the company rather than buying someone else's shares and the company gets no benefit from it, which I thought was a good point as well. All right, that's our stock of the day, Clarity Pharmaceuticals.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.